talking about foster care. She's had several internships in New York, so she'll be covering what foster care is. Hi. I basically just want to speak about, before I start this, I just want to say that foster care isn't all bad. Like, you have bad rumors, you don't go to college, you don't graduate high school. It's not all bad, but a lot for the younger kids, like, a lot of kids end up getting killed in their foster homes. And I just want to, like, highlight that because I feel like they're the ones that need the most help. Like, older people, we can fend for ourselves, but younger kids getting beat in their crib, like, they have no protection. So, introduction. I'm going to go over the number of children in foster care, like, as an overview. Why children are placed in foster care in the first place. The responsibilities of the foster care agency to protect the children that they're removing from dangerous homes. Just to clear up a couple of the rumors and how we can make a change, even if you don't know someone, even if you're not in foster care, how you can help. According to 2009 foster care statistics, there are more than 40, I don't know how to pronounce that number because I hate math, but
463,000.
Yeah, 63,000 children and teens nationwide in foster care. Why do children get placed into foster care? 18.8% is physical abuse, 7.9% is emotional abuse, 6.2% is sexual abuse, and 3.2% is caretaker inability, like if your grandparents take care of you or something and they can't. Responsibilities of the foster care agency. To visit their clients monthly, sometimes if they're younger, bi-weekly. You're supposed to visit the home, make sure the children have enough food to eat, they have a room to sleep in. If there's something happens, it could be 3 o'clock in the morning. If you get a call that something's wrong with your child, that's on your caseload, you get there. I don't care if you have to swim, take a train, take a bus, you get there. It doesn't matter. Like, no, I didn't have a car, you're supposed to get there. Give background checks. This is actually very important to me. Background checks for each adult that lives in the house. There are a couple instances where it's a lot of paperwork when you're placing a child into a home. But basically, you want to make sure you're not placing a child with child molesters, serial killers, basically nutcases. Like, you want to make sure they're safe. At the bottom it says foster children are not allowed to be adopted or placed in a home where a convicted felon with a criminal record is living. True or false? The answers are apparently already there. There are too many children for families to adopt them. That's false. According to the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption, there are 48 million Americans that have considered adoption, but they just don't know the steps to adopt a child. Many children end up in foster care end up homeless or when they're discharged. That's very true. Actually, I know a couple of people that once they were discharged, 18, if you don't go to college, you're done. They give you $500, have a nice life, that's it.
So how you get
65% of children that are discharged at 18, they have no place to go. Less than 3% go to college, and 51% end up unemployed, and 45% live on like the government funding. Adults with foster care backgrounds live unsuccessful lives. That's not true. Liz Marie, I don't know if you guys ever heard the story of her. She actually was homeless. Both of her parents died. Well, her mother died first from HIV. Her father was in, I believe, a mental institution. But there's a book about her, From Homeless to Harvard. She was literally homeless, no high school, nothing, and she made it, clearly. Malcolm X was in the foster care system. Steve Jobs was actually adopted, if no one knew that. Marilyn Monroe, and then Eric Bishop, who we know as Jamie Foxx, was also in the foster care system. This is where it gets sad. These are all like children that have died, like living in foster homes. I wanted to keep it like current, like new, but this Michael Tinning, he was adopted by a woman who previously killed her own 5 children, and they didn't obviously do the background information, so they didn't know that. And she was his 6th victim in 1981. Braxton Taylor, this little cutie here, passed away from severe brain swelling in 2010. His autopsy report concluded that he had a cauliflower ear, which MMA fighters get from being constantly hit by grown men, like fighting in a cage, basically. His weight at 10 months was less than his weight when he on his 6-month checkup at the hospital. Kathleen Sampson, the one here at the bottom, she was adopted by a couple who, they didn't have background checkups, but they were like drug addicts, and she was actually taken away from her mom, who was on drugs, and placed with a family friend who was also on drugs. The autopsy report concluded that she had a total of 70 wounds on her body. Cops reported that the blood, like when they went into the house to check what the scene looked like, there was blood on toys, books, and closets, dry blood, she's been abused for an amount of time. Curtis Williams, this one in the middle, 2009. He was actually adopted. He wasn't in foster care for 24 hours. He was adopted by a woman, well, put in the care of a woman who was actually a nurse at a hospital, which, we can understand that she would be able to take care of children. But she decided to tape his pacifier to his mouth so he wouldn't cry, and he suffocated. And these last two here, they didn't, they were actually stuffed in the freezer in the basement. And they didn't, there's three here, there's three sisters. One of the sisters got out of the house, and that's when she said, she went back and told the cops, my sisters are dead, I don't know where my sisters are in the house, when she was finally able to get out of the house. And then, when the cops came to the house, they found these two in the freezer, so we don't really know when they died, or, the information on them. This is just more, pictures of children that have been, abused. This is the one that I spoke about in the beginning. This woman lived in the house. They're supposed to screen everyone. This pisses me off so much. They're supposed to screen everyone in the house. She was living in the attic of her daughter. Her daughter adopted the children, and she was living in the attic. And basically, she was on drugs. She had HIV, hepatitis, all these situations going on. And she was driving the children after using after using drugs, heroin, there was crack in her system, alcohol. She was driving the kids to their appointment in Queens, which is the agency that I'm with, and this is recent, in 2008. And she ended up crashing the car and killing the kids in the car. And it's just, who's to blame? Do we blame the parents that, if their children are going to care, is it their fault? Do we blame the foster parents who clearly, not in all cases, but in some cases don't protect their children? The families who could potentially save their lives but don't know how to, or the agencies. I personally believe the agencies, if that's your job, do your job. Pointing the finger doesn't really solve anything, of course, but what can we do? Speak up. If you know someone, anybody that's getting abused in a home, mistreated, it's not funny, I don't have nothing to wear, oh, she dresses like a bum, it's not funny, maybe they have something going on. And get involved. This was the actual protest in LA. They wanted to have juvenile hearings, open to the public, so I could just walk in and sit in and hear how you don't have a family. That's wrong. So they protested against that. I'm not really sure what was the outcome of it, but I can look it up. Any questions? No? Here I'm excited, and that's it.